This guy is very, very funny. He's been on before. This should be good. Trust me.
Such a good-looking guy. I'm a lot older than him.
And he's an up-and-coming pro wrestler, right? Give him.
Shift gears a little bit here. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a local celebrity. He's also a pro wrestler. Give it up for Jack Stewart.
A big round of applause for Jack Stewart. Jack Stewart, everyone.
I am oh so fascinated. I am oh so entertained. Standing here like a comedian. I repeat what I say again.
I'd like to talk about a serious issue in Bellingham, and that is prejudice against tall people. I went into a movie theater the other day. I sit down, it's packed, I sit where I can. I hear this lady behind me go like, oh my god, another tall person in front of me. Why don't they just sit in the back? Yeah, sit in the back. Where have we heard that before? They even make tall people drink from separate water fountains. Come on. I'm like, that's that. I'm an activist. I lean all the way over to the short one. People look at me like I'm crazy. People think being tall is all fun and games. Sad things like whenever I take a shower, I literally have to wash my hair, get on my knees, the nozzle's too low. Yeah, that gets kind of awkward at the gym. I do go to the gym a lot, obviously. You don't just roll out of bed looking this close to being in shape. What I don't understand is the people that hate it, that have some sort of grudge against professional wrestling, like they were molested by Hulk Hogan as a child or something. If you're ever in a group of people, somebody will always say oh man, that's so fake, pro wrestling is so fake. You know what's fake? Every show on television. I enjoy Breaking Bad, even though my science teacher isn't a meth dealer. In real life, my math teacher is the meth dealer. And the worst one, everybody always says too, if you enjoy watching half-naked, oiled-up men, wrestling with each other, doesn't that mean you're gay? So I went on vacation recently. And we were getting on Star Tours, which is a Star Wars ride, and you're in a spaceship, whatever, and everybody's settled down, everybody's ready to go. This one 5-year-old kid won't sit down. And the mom's trying to talk him through it, hey, are you gonna be brave? Are you gonna go on the ride? Are you gonna be brave? Oh, is it too scary? And finally, after everybody's been waiting, the kid finally sits down and everybody claps. What a beautiful Disneyland moment. The kid was so brave. Don't clap for that. Oh, how inspirational. This kid finally decided to stop wasting all of our time, And so after all the applause ends, we're all ready to go again. The kid stands back up. You little shit. You don't get to stand back up after we applauded you. That's not how it works. And so finally the mom was like, okay, it's too scary. We're going to get off this ride. And as she's walking her kid out, I start clapping. And I wasn't the only one. Everybody else started laughing. The whole ride started clapping. And let me paint a picture for you. It's hotter than balls outside. I'm standing in line behind little girls singing "It's a Small World" over and over for 90 fucking minutes. I want to see Wookiees. I want to see lasers. I want to be offended by Jar Jar Binks. Why can't I get? Of course I should be able to clap, right? Wrong, because the lady comes back, the mom, and says, I hope you're all proud of yourselves for making fun of a kid with autism. How was I supposed to know? It's there's no difference, he's 5. Like I said, worst thing I've ever done. So the mom, was all pissed off. She stormed off. The door's shut. And let me tell you, the word awkward gets thrown around a lot these days. But when you're stuck with 30 strangers who had just all accidentally joked about a kid with autism, needless to say, things get kind of tense. Everybody excited for Halloween this month? Halloween is the sluttiest night of the year. I was shopping the other day, I saw a costume for a slutty nun, and I'm not sure if I was supposed to be offended or not at that. You know, like guys couldn't get away with that. I could never, you know, go out dressed as a slutty pope. You know? I'd give candy to like one little boy, and the next person knocking on my door would be Chris Hansen. Trick or treat, why don't you take a seat? Costumes, man, though, the costumes are like just so revealing now. Like, do you know what I'm gonna be for Halloween? I'm gonna be awkwardly hiding my erection. That's what I'm gonna be. I would like to start off tonight by saying happy birthday to my girlfriend Kayla. Happy birthday. We've been together almost 3 years now, and we're still pretty young though, so it gets a little agitating when people are always asking us, when are you guys getting married? Why haven't you guys got married yet? And I always say, well, she's not pregnant and I'm not Mormon. Grandma loves it. They have ads on Facebook now, right? Like there's one I saw and it says, Facebook thinks you would like Budweiser. What are you, my gym teacher? And then the worst one though is they'll, like, I'm sure this pisses people off, they'll put your exes now in the people you may know. That's a dick move, son. And what a terrible combination that is, right? Like, oh, you should get drunk and then talk to your ex-girlfriend. Pretty sure that usually works out. My ex-girlfriend, man, she broke up with me. She said that I overreact too much. So I slapped her and stormed out. Happy America! Goddamn America. How was everybody's 4th of July? To celebrate, I bought a ton of fireworks. Just didn't feel like enough though, so I said put it all on my tab, because there is nothing more American than knowing the Chinese money. Happy America. I feel bad for chicks at the gym though, because like they're always getting hit on. I tried it once. I went up to a girl, you know, I gave her the classic line. She goes, oh my God, you wouldn't even know what to do with me. I'm pretty sure I'd figure it out. Like, being hot doesn't magically make your vagina more complicated. If I could solve a Rubik's Cube, I'm pretty sure I could. I see a lot of that, though, like, guys going out with girls that are, like, way out of their leagues. Like, you'll see, like, this gorgeous chick, then, like, a greasy, fat guy wearing, like, a tap-out shirt, you know, with her. And first of all, if the only fight you've ever had was with diabetes, you should not be wearing a tap-out shirt. I started school this week, and I think if you go summer quarter, I think the first day of class, the teacher should always say, you live in Bellingham, Washington. Every year you get 2 weeks of summer, and you just wasted it, so you failed. Congratulations. I feel like you cannot call Whatcom Community College an institution of higher learning unless you say it's because everybody there is stoned out of their mind. If you show up to a pottery class on any given day, you'll just find a room full of very confused potheads. What I really don't understand though is there's like a group of girls that dress up like business Barbie. And I think they're trying to look, you know, like mature and official, you know, and like this thing is that they just end up looking like they're the secretaries from like a porn movie. You know? I don't know where they're getting their information, but like stripper heels and cleavage doesn't count as business casual. Apparently somebody didn't tell them that you have to wait until after college before you can sleep with somebody to get a job. I would just never risk it having sex with, you know, more than one sister at a time, because you know that one of them's going to be crazy. Because everybody in this room knows that in every family there is one batshit crazy sister. And ladies, if you don't think so, that means you're it. And you can be pissed off at me, I don't even care. Go tell your cats about it tonight. The worst part, though, would be the guys that always want to have the fantasy, the male fantasy of doing it with twins. Like, that's just even weird. If you're gonna have sex with two people, why would you make it the same fucking person? So can we agree that women are finally, like, just every bit as sexual as men? Blah, 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 right. Men always get the rap, like, oh, men are such horn dogs and stuff like that. But I have evidence tonight, starting with Magic Mike. Half the panties in the room just dropped. That's all it takes. And then 50 Shades of Grey. Now, the thing that bugs me about 50 Shades of Grey is that it's porn for women. Let's get that out of the gate. During the political campaigns last year, it was so hot button issue to ask female candidates running for any type of office if they had read 50 Shades of Grey. You could never get away with that with men. You couldn't be like, oh, Mr. Obama, what's your idea to lower gas prices? Okay, that's cool. How do you feel about gun control? Have you read this month's Big Booty Bitches? Send in Clinton, send in Clinton. And then finally, my last piece of evidence would be Cosmo magazine. Yeah, shit just got quiet, didn't it? You didn't think I knew about Cosmo. I picked one up the other day for the first time. I see like a picture of Taylor Swift in a little sundress. I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's good for the kids. Top tagline on it. Top 10 ways to blow an older man. Taylor, no! Some people say sex is a drug. I don't really believe that. I don't think sex is a drug. You can't overdose on sex. There would be no teenage boy that makes it past 15 years old. Oh, he died? Was it a handful of pills? It was a handful of something. Basically, I feel like alcohol's primary purpose is to make people stupid and obnoxious, And I don't want to sound like I'm better than anybody, but I'm pretty good at those things already. Did you ever go to like a sporting event? You always see like the one loud, obnoxious asshole who's just ruining it for everybody. Everybody's like, oh, why didn't they cut him off like a long time ago? That's me sober. I am never more than one Mike's Hard Lemonade away from starting a riot. I love how with drinking stories, like, it's never a good story. Like, the more terrible shit that happens to you, the better the story is. You never, like, go into class and, have somebody next to you say, like, oh, man, last night I had so much homework, I had a couple glasses of wine, and it really took the edge off. It's always like, holy shit, man, we were so wasted. We were just drinking shot after shot. We broke into a zoo. I got mauled by a bear. I was crying. I called up my crazy ex-girlfriend and told her I miss her. We fucking lost Kevin. Like, oh, you got separated? No, Kevin's just gone now. His parents are devastated. It was awesome. So I'm driving a new car now, and it makes me kind of miss my old one. I used to drive this like super tall, lifted, beat up, just super racist pickup truck. So now I really miss it now that I'm driving like a little two-door, and there's just stuff you can't do anymore. Like, I actually have to remember where I park now. What is with that shit? Like, I used to just walk out of a store and be like, oh, what's that blocking out the sun? Like, oh, that's my ride. Another thing too is whenever I go to like a drive-through restaurant now, when I was in the tall truck, I used to be able to look down on the fast food workers like I do in real life. And something about being on their level just makes me feel dirty and cheap. Another thing too is in the truck, like the drive-through window was down here. Like now it's like up around here, and you can call me paranoid, but I'd like to be able to see whether or not the people handling my food are wearing pants. Every time I get a Happy Meal, I don't want to know if, whether or not Paco decided to teabag my cheeseburger. I don't really like talking about, this stuff because I'm not super, informed when it comes to politics or anything like that. But I do have a microphone, and that makes me an expert. So stay with me here. Anderson Cooper just came out. And so the Silver Fox is back on the home team, so suck on that, women. You can blame that on Ellen DeGeneres for taking Portia de Rossi. I'm a little nervous about the law getting passed, though, for gay marriage, because if it wasn't for single gay men, I would never get hit on. And I know, gay people are being treated like second-class citizens, and that's not fair, but my self-esteem really needs this. And here's why. The one thing I really hate about the law against gay marriage is the fact that it's like the one law you can't just say fuck it and do it anyway. Like, it's illegal to smoke marijuana. Like, hey, it's medicinal, man. I have to smoke it because sometimes I'm not high. It's illegal to try to solicit sex from teenagers, but that didn't stop Sandusky, But it's all of a sudden... All of a sudden, it's like, well, but you're two dudes. Well, you can't get married, and there's nothing that you can do about it. I just don't think that's cool. There's no joke there. That's just sad and depressing. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, actually, the reason they're not married yet, they say, is because they're waiting for gay marriage to be legalized. And it's cool, like it's a good sentiment, I guess, and everything. But I just don't think that would ever be what sways people's minds. When is anybody gonna be like, well, gay marriage is against my religious beliefs, but Mr. and Mrs. Smith was a good movie. I don't really know where I'm going with this. If you can take anything from what I've said here today, it's that I think we should all just, come together, do the right thing, promote equality, and ban heterosexual marriage. This old lady comes up with her dog and just lets it take a shit right on my front yard, And it's like, you give her the look, like, what the hell? And she just has that old lady smirk on her face with the little plastic bag, just nothing you can do. And, that pisses me off, because it's like, yeah, that's sanitary. I'll go have a fucking picnic right there now. So I followed this lady home, so I was so pissed off. The next morning, she comes outside, and there's me with the newspaper, and just, oh, hey, how's it going? And just have a hefty bag. Don't worry about it. I got this. I was driving home the other day. I saw this sign. It was obviously homemade, and it says, "Keep kids alive, drive 25." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." That. I enjoy keeping kids alive. It's catchy. So I thought, oh, I'll do my part. I'll make my own sign. And so I'm working on it right now. It says, "Keep kids alive. Don't let them play in the fucking street, you idiot." Yes, try parenting instead of making stupid signs all day. I think it'll work. I was at my friend's house the other day, and his roommate came home. He was all pissed off. It was just like, just don't even start. I've had a bad day. I'm in a super shitty mood. If you can talk to me, I'm gonna be an asshole. And I was like, wow, that guy just gave himself a free asshole pass. I didn't even think that was possible. Apparently, if you exclaim the dickish behavior that you're gonna do, it suddenly makes it okay. So the next day, I went back there, and when he comes in, I'm like, boy, I am just in the horniest mood. And I swear, if you even talk to me, I'm gonna just take him down and take you to Browntown. Speaking of Browntown, I was recently planning a trip to Mexico. And so I was doing some research, and I found out that the #1 tourist scam in Mexico is something called the fake baby trade. And this is true. This is where they dress up a baby doll in a blanket, they wrap it up, and they pretend to trip it and throw it at you. So when you're fucking juggling a Cabbage Patch doll, some other guy comes up from behind and takes your wallet. So I read this, and I was like, okay, that's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. So I'll be ready when it happens. And then I realized, with my luck, it would probably be the one time where it wasn't a scam. So the lady would just drop her baby. I'd be like, oh. She'd be like screaming on the floor and be like, "It's okay, everybody, I still have all of my American money." I just don't understand soccer first. If you like it, that's fine, but I don't think it's the world sport. Maybe the third world sport, but even that's kind of pushing it. Trying to get sponsored. It's hot up here. What should I wear? I'll have the biggest fucking jacket you can find. You guys want to hear Biggie Smalls beatbox? Of course you do. Okay, here we go. And then you get shot or something. So my doctor told me I'm low in potassium, so I had to start taking a potassium suppository. It's a banana. I think there's a thin line between genius and crazy, and that line is usually made of cocaine. Just a random bit. I love making fun of Marilyn Monroe because there is nothing that pisses off skanks more than making fun of Marilyn Monroe. It is just as offensive as making fun of Martin Luther King in front of black people. All right. Let's see, black joke, black joke, black joke. Oh, this one get you. Does anybody want to hear my rape whistle? Okay, finally, I was watching the Discovery Channel the other day. They had a special on about great white sharks. And I thought what was really interesting is I guess they used to have great black sharks, but they all died out when they couldn't swim. Boom! Speaking of drugs, I don't do drugs, but like if there is anything that would make me want to start, it's all the anti-drug commercials. There's one right now that's just ridiculous. It's Above the Influence, and it starts with this kid like doing parkour and like free running on top of a building, just doing Jackie Chan shit, jumping around. And it shows like outside of a liquor store, and there's the two most out of shape douchebags drinking something out of like a paper sack, you know? And it's like, this is all we're ever gonna do. Like, don't be like us. And it's like, well, first of all, if there's a guy who's just running around and jumping off of things for no reason, like he's probably on crack. Can we agree on? So maybe this is not the most accurate commercial. And it ends, the commercial ends with this kid like jumping from one building, like the top, to another, like 3 stories up, over an alleyway. And it's like, how the fuck is that not more dangerous than drinking a beer? If I was a parent, God forbid, and I saw that commercial, like, and my son was like, "Dad, I'm gonna go outside and play." Like, "Oh hell no, you're not." Like, I know what you're up to. You want to go be jumping off of buildings? No, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna smoke this joint. You know, like, I personally don't smoke, but I think everybody should be allowed to do whatever the hell they want, as long as it doesn't affect other people, you know? But the one thing I want written down in the law books is that if you smoke weed in public and I have to smell it, it should be legal for me to fart in your face. Like, if some candidate runs for president in 2016 and that's like on his banner, then he's got a sign going in my front yard. Hey man, is it okay if I like light up really quick? I don't know, dude. I had Mexican last night. It's up to you. Now, if there is an end of the world, and of course I don't want there to be, like I'll be pretty pissed off if the world ends, you know? Like I'll be upset. I'm hoping it's zombies. Anybody? Right. I watch episodes of The Walking Dead like they're military training videos. Don't have sex with best friend's wife. Got it? It's good to know. Now, I love zombies, like that scenario, because everybody has like a different plan. You know, like some want to find boats, some want to get to high ground. First thing I'm going to do is dress up like Michael Jackson. Because if I have to go out, I want to be going out doing what I love, and that's making people laugh. And if you're telling me if at the end of the world you're sitting there, the last person, and you see Thriller just coming around the corner, you're not going to laugh. So I had to go to the doctor the other day, and I hate the doctor. I know everybody hates the doctor, but I really hate the doctor because I happen to know that they have magical powers. Stay with me. Because doctor is the only profession where you can meet a person and 5 minutes later they have you taking your pants off. Right? Like you can't go into McDonald's and they're like, okay, here's your number 4 with Diet Coke. Oh, do you want fries with that? Okay, cool, take your pants off. No. I know you like to see me smile, but damn. You know, doctors, to give you some kind of like reference, if my best friend was dying and he said, Jack, the only way to save me is if you let me put my finger up your ass, I would kill him myself. I would point a gun at my best friend's face, look him in the eyes as I end his life before I would let that happen. But if a doctor says I need to give you a prostate exam, it says, oh, go for it. Don't even lube up, just dig right in. I know that's like why I should never be a doctor, because I'd always be tempted to see how much I could get away with. Like I would start out and be like, okay, turn your head and cough, good, good. But by the end, I'd be like, okay, now start whistling and try to make your dick do a windmill. He went counterclockwise, interesting. I don't understand why anybody would want to be a doctor personally. Like, I'm way too squeamish for that. I know that people like to consider it helping others. You know, that's why you'd want to be a doctor, because I help others. But there's other ways to help people without sticking them with needles. Like, if I'm walking down the railroad, I see a bum, I'll give him $5. I helped him, I didn't have to stick a needle in him. Give him $5, he'll stick himself with a needle. Speaking of zombie pope ghosts, my ex-girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend once wanted to do something called the elevator game, and that's where you get to choose a person, a celebrity, that you can have sex with if you're on an elevator with them. For instance, my current girlfriend can't get mad at me if I have sex in an elevator with Sean Connery, because that's my guy. So, my girlfriend, the person she picked, of course, was Johnny Depp, because bitches love Johnny Depp. Now, personally, I don't get it, because my theory is if you saw Johnny Depp walking down the street, you'd think he's a bum. Like, with his tattered clothes, his ironic facial hair, god damn, he's clever. So, I always ask women, like, why Johnny Depp? What is so great about Johnny Depp? And the first answer is always, well, he's such a good actor. So he can lie to you? That's what you look for in a man? You want a guy with the world's renowned ability to not be honest with you. That's like dating a guy because he's a good boxer. Like, it can only end badly for you. So she picked Johnny Depp, and I was actually cool with it, but she said not just Johnny Depp. Here's the kicker. She said Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. So regular Johnny Depp hit the bricks, kids, but Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, pirate panty dropper. And so I was cool with it. I was like, you know what, I wouldn't even mind. Not because I wanted my girlfriend to cheat on me, but because how funny would it be if you had a long day at your office, you're just ready to go home and leave, you call the elevator, and when it opens, there's just a chick getting railed by a pirate. And she would always remember it as the day she caught Jack Sparrow in her hair. I've been Jack Stewart. You've all been fantastic. This is my 1-year anniversary of doing stand-up. Thank you all for supporting.